What's going on, guys? Rob here with AR Brothers with Arms. Today I want to show you a holster that I purchased from a website called GunfightersINC. I wanted to show you the holster and some of the features that it has because I think it is a pretty badass holster. Plus the features make it even more badass. So, starting off with a holster. It is made of your typical .08 Kydex, which I think pretty much all Kydex holsters are made of. It is an OWB, which stands for outside the waistband, if you do not know what that is. What we'll start with first is, I guess, the looks of the holster. In my opinion, this carbon fiber look with this, I guess, desert tan looks really good. There's just a couple of shots of it. Another thing about this holster is the riveting. The riveting that they did to it. They did a really good job on the rivets because they're put together very tightly. They don't stick out. I mean, you can feel them, but they're not bumping out there to where you might, scratch your hand or feel like they're going to be loose or getting loose at any time soon. So the riveting's done very well. You got 3 rivets on each side. So 2 of the rivets are riveted to and hold together the belt loops. So the belt loops is the next thing I want to talk to y'all about or show you. This holster, by the way, is made in the USA. The belt loops supposedly are hand formed, and supposedly again no 2 belt loops on each holster are the same, so they claim to say on their website. So if they're hand formed, they did a fine job with it, because that means they had to heat it up, make their bends here, make their offset, and then form their 90s to make them both look almost identical. So this style, or these belt loops are made for a 1.5-inch wide belt. Another item that they installed on the belt loop is this marine style grip tape, which does an excellent job for holding your belt in place. So they put one on each side. I don't have very good lighting in here, so I'm trying to do my best to show it to y'all. So that helps a lot with keeping your holster in place, keeping it from moving up and down or sliding back and forth. It grips on there very well. And I guess depending on the style of belt you have, if you have a good gun belt, the way they're made nowadays, or the way they're made period, this tape is going to grip onto that belt and it ain't going to move very much. It's actually kind of, I'm not saying it's very hard, but it's a little bit, you got to work at it to get your belt through there and get it in place, because once it's in place, it ain't going to move. So that's another good thing about what they did here to these belt loops. I think that was a good idea. And this is the first time I've ever seen anything like that on any outside the waistband holster. So another thing is that I noticed is on this holster is that, a lot of people on their guns, on their Glocks especially, they always get, like extended magazine releases, extended slide releases. They have so many parts, for the Glock. One thing I noticed about this holster is that it looks like they formed the holster to a gun that probably had an extended slide catch or slide release, because I used to have one on another Glock that I had, and that extended slide release or catch had a little bump on it so that you could grab with your thumb and and release it pretty easily. And from the looks of this holster, that's the shape of that release that I used to have. So it's got a little hump there, And it looks pretty damn close to what that release, the shape of it. So if they did that to this holster, that's a good little addition there, because if you were to get one and it didn't have that hump, you'd probably have a hard time getting that gun into your holster. So I think that's a plus there, you know. So speaking of extended releases, they also formed it here for the magazine release, it looks like, for maybe an extended one also, because you got a pretty good amount of space there. So I think they were kind of thinking about that when they made this holster, because I'm sure they know about all the parts and accessories that you can get for these guns. So they wanted to make sure it was going to fit. So, alright, so the next thing I want to talk to y'all about is the retention. The retention is really good on this holster. It's got a pretty good, you know, it's got a real positive click, which to me means that that is a good retention. So it's not too hard to pull out. It's easy to put in, which is great. So the retention is just enough to where your gun is not going to fall out of the holster. So I'm not gonna jam this thing and try and make it fall out, because I'm sure it would fall out. But it's got enough retention there to where when you're running or jumping around and moving fast, it ain't gonna fall out. And that's with a loaded magazine, by the way. So it's got some weight on it. So the retention is really good on this holster also. So that's another thing I wanted to talk to y'all about, was the retention. The next thing I wanted to show y'all were the lines on this holster. The lines are, how would you say, they're very smooth. They're not sharp. The edges are not sharp. So they, you know, they must have went through and filed it down or sanded it down very well. So you don't have any sharp edges on it. You know, nothing sharp that's going to slice you or cut you, because I've had a few holsters that were pretty sharp. Some edges were sharp. So this one's made pretty good as far as, or they did a good job on keeping all the sharp edges down. It does have a small cant to it. So a lot of people like the cant, a lot of people don't like the cant. So I would say it's probably about a 5-degree cant maybe, which I like the cant. It helps you to, you know, when you're going to grab the gun, you got that angle to where you can get right onto it. So with the cant, you're looking at, it's hard to tell to the camera, but you have a good angle there. So the Kydex goes all the way up to the top of the pistol pretty much. So that kind of blocks from sweat, you know, things like that when the gun is up against you. So that works out pretty good too there. I like that a lot. It ain't too high or not, you know, too high to where you can't get to the gun. So that works out pretty well. So I'm trying to think of some other things that I wanted to show y'all, but that's all that comes to mind right now on this holster. So the holster is made by Gunfighters Inc. So you can check out the website on GunfightersINC.com. It's the Ronin Conceal holster. You know, they make different colors, styles, inside the waistband, outside the waistband. You know, they make all kinds of things. A lot of the stuff that a lot of guys are looking for, tactical gear and things like that. So there you have it, guys. That is my Gunfighters Inc. Ronin Conceal holster outside the waistband. I wanted to just show it to y'all, see what y'all think about it. Visit their website at GunfightersINC.com. Like our video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Rob with AR Brothers with Arms, reminding you to always keep it locked and loaded.